Hello and welcome on Sport Updates on Trust TV. I'm Adeni G. Shafe, and I have in the studio Emmanuel Fashimi. Good to have you.
Thanks for having me.
We start by looking at our own league, NNL, the second tier of Nigerian league, football league rather. Let's quickly look at how it went down during the weekend in their match day 3. Matches were played in Northern and Southern Conference. We look at those results together. We look at the Group A1, the Northern Conference. ABS defeated Kogi United by 2-0. Melantaki FC, they did well, defeating AFCC by a lone goal in that particular encounter in Group A1, Northern Conference. In Group A2, let's look at the result there. Green Berets 2-1 against City FC of Abuja. NAV FC played goalless against Katsina United. FWC champions, they lost away to Jigawa Golden Stars 2-0 in that particular encounter. See, looking at those games, we also look at Group A3, A4, and before we go to the southern part of Nigeria, Malumfashi FC beat Kano Pillars by a lone goal. Kano Pillars at the earlier won 2 matches played in the match day 1 and 2, but right now match day 3, they lost out to Malumfashi FC. Kebbi United 3, Zamfara United 0 in that encounter there. Well, right now, from the way it is, we look at A4. Group A4 right now, Adamawa United lost at home against Yobe Desert Stars in that particular game in Group A4 Northern Conference of the NNL Nigerian National League Match Day 3 result. Let's go southern now as we look at games being played in the southern part of Nigeria. Go Round FC 1-1 against Ensad FC. Rovers play goalless against FC1 Rocket. Warri Wolves 1, Van Dresser 1. NNL Match Day 3 results. Southern Conference B1. Let's look at B2 before we look at B3 and 4. All the same. Now, well, from the way it is, we quickly look at B3 rather. Let's look at B3 now. We look at Madiba FC play 1-1 against Abeokuta Stormers in that encounter. Ekiti United lost, won against FC Ebede 3-0. Also to lift 3 points in this particular match that was played in Ekiti. Well, right now, B4. You have Southern Conference, Group B4 there. Idel FC lost against Abia Comet. Ibom Youth, nil against Giant Breeders. And you have Sinishos FC against Heartland ending 0-0 in those matches that will play in the match day 3 of the Southern and Northern Conference in the NNL. Well, Fashimi, you look at it this time around, it seems that we have so many draws.
A lot of draws and a few wins, yeah. It's a bit tight and it's a good one for the NNL. Getting some of these outcomes and these results for the teams it also tells you that in a way the league is now trying to be competitive and see how they can really justify the points they get. And one particular game that I'm surprised is EFCC against Melantaki. Now they met the second time this season, and they met the first time in FA Cup, FCT FA Cup final, where they defeated EFCC, and now in the league proper they've gotten their first win against EFCC. So it's good one for Melantaki. This is a team that was just formed barely how many years ago, and they are pulling their strides. Let's see. If they are going to follow the footsteps of CTFC and see how they can challenge of getting that qualification ticket to the MPFL. But the results so far for all other groups and every team, I think there is a group in the Southern Conference where all the teams played draw. We have 1-1 draw, and then we have a goalless draw. So like I mentioned, like I said, it's looking competitive, and that is what we should build on. When your league is competitive, then you are bound to get a sponsor. You package it and then sell it out there. People are going to come in and sponsor your league. We can look at the second tier league in all other leagues of the world, even in Africa. You see sponsorship deals, sponsored logo on their jerseys and the rest of them, and you wonder how did these guys get it. They actually started somewhere, and today they are reaping the dividend of doing that. So we should also do that. But if you look at so far so good for the NLM match day 3, we have had some interesting results, good, beautiful results, surprises. And for Kano Pillars, losing their first game of the season, that is just the third out of the number of games they are going to play. They've lost 1 and winning 2. So it's to tell you how the league is. If you are not, if you don't put in all your work, your energy, then you might just get the shocker of your life.
We've been looking at the NNL match day 3 across the 2 conferences in Nigeria, Northern and Southern Conference. Matches were played and a lot of games being won there by some of the clubs. Well, the likes of Melanta KFC doing well against EFCC in a derby. That's a match that took place in Abuja. And now we quickly move to talk about CAF Confederation, where Asec Mimosa of Cote d'Ivoire, they pipped Rivers United by a lone goal. And right now they are topping that Group B, topping the group with, right now they have 13 points. They were normally on the same level by having 10 points each, but now they have 13 points. Rivers United are having 10. But yet, with that, even despite losing that particular game, Rivers, they've qualified for the quarterfinal. So it's as if they've done the business. Whatever happens, it's just a plus.
Yes, it's just a plus. But it would have been better if Rivers United finished top of the table, which will actually pit them against teams that are not that too, in quote, not that too strong. Because these days they are no longer minnows in football, but it would have given you an edge to meet a smaller team where you can actually have where you can have a good result. But it's not a bad one. They already qualified. I think they themselves and Asec Mimosa will be the team that will go through. I think they still have one. I think there is one game to end all group stages matches. And if Asec Mimosa slip in their next game and Rivers United win, then Rivers United will be back to the top of the table. But they already got the job done in the previous game before now, where they already got the ticket to the second round. But so far so good. Would have been better if they top the table.
Well, from the way it is right now, well, they still have at least one more match to play to end that particular group. But a good one for Rivers United. They've qualified, and well, we just hope that they will do well in the quarterfinals as they'll be doing the draws there. Well, quickly, we move on to talk about matches later for tonight over there in Europe. Some matches will be up. Everton will be facing Tottenham Hotspur. You have Rayo Vallecano versus Valencia, Empoli, Lecce, Sassuolo versus Torino. Those are the 4 matches, and a big one for Everton, who are right now languishing at the bottom of the table in the EPL, really trying to see how they can at least hold their own against Tottenham Hotspur. It is a battle between 2 teams. You look at Everton, this season they have not been too bright at all, and Tottenham Hotspur separating away from Antonio Conte right now. What would they be doing after his departure? Can they begin to win well and at least add their voice to the top teams in EPL? That's a question to be answered by the way they perform tonight.
Yeah, it's always difficult when you are playing a team that is battling relegation. And for Tottenham, they are a little bit unsettled right now. They are not settled as it stands prior to what happened. Conte coming out to criticize the player publicly, and then the players also looking at okay, how possibly can we get out of this situation? But if you look at Everton also, they want to fight their way out of that relegation zone. They are on the, I think, on the 17th position. They are close to certain team in the bottom of the table. But for Everton, for tonight's game, it's a tricky one for Tottenham. They just sacked their coach. A new man is at the helm of affairs. Can he actually turn things around? Is he going to, after 90 minutes, we will know with the style of play, with the body language of the players, are they ready to play for the new manager? But for Everton, they themselves, I think they will hold their own. So I'm a little bit scared that Everton might just run away with all 3 points.
We wait to see if truly that will be happening between Everton and Tottenham Hotspur. While we're still looking at the fixtures there, we look at Valencia in the La Liga now. They'll be playing. Valencia takes on Rayo Vallecano, Empoli, Lecce, Torino away to Sassuolo. Those are the other 3 matches in Spain and also in Italia Serie A. As we talk about them, Valencia this season also, it seems to be like Everton. They are not doing well at all,
and they've sacked their manager. Seriously, this was a team that was also the toast of European football. I remember that was before Mourinho won before Mourinho won the Champions League for Porto. They actually got to the final. They won Europa League in that season under Rafael Benitez. And if you look at it, ever since 2 seasons ago, Valencia has not really gotten themselves. They've been hiring and firing. At some point, they brought in General Gattuso. They fired him, they brought him back. I think 3 times he has coached that team, and then also they appointed Gary Neville for just some few games, and they fired him. There has been hiring and firing, and they've not really gotten their rhythm. They've not really gotten the kind of results they want. Against Rayo Vallecano, I will not be surprised if Valencia lost at home.
Empoli, that's the team that have Tyrone Ebuehi against Lecce. Who wins this one? Maybe because of Nigerian connection. They want to give it the night.
It's not because of Nigerian collection. Empoli is a good side, and Lecce also is also a good side. But overall, from our assessment, Lecce can pull a surprise on Empoli ground. These two teams know each other from Serie B before they got a promotion to Serie A. But it's looking good. Like I mentioned, Lecce could shock Empoli on their home ground.
Well, from the way it is right now, football coming there in those 4 matches there, Empoli will be playing. You have Everton also playing against Tottenham Hotspur. Not forgetting Valencia, the Mestalla Stadium. They will be hosting, and let's see what they'll be doing against Rayo Vallecano. Just give you an update concerning those matches. And right now, yes, we need to also digress a bit as we look at talking about tables in the La Liga, not forgetting Italia, Serie A, and French Ligue 1. Matches were played, and we look at the result. Though we've actually checked the Premier League in our earlier edition. But now let's look at it. Barcelona are still there, topping 71 points ahead of Real Madrid, although they won their game. But they are trailing now, 59-71. Atletico Madrid, Diego Simeone, with his lads having 54 points, followed by Sociedad, 48, Betis, 45, Villarreal, 44, standing 6 on the log. Atletico Bilbao, Rayo Vallecano, Osasuna, Celta de Vigo in 7-10 on the log table there. Well, from the way it is, it's really coasting home, 27 matches in La Liga, Primera Liga. And you look at Barcelona, Real Madrid, 71-59.
Real Madrid have lost they've lost this league due to their complacency in some of the few games they played before they went for the FIFA Club World Cup. 71-59 points is not. If you look at the gap, it's an impossible task right now for Real Madrid to actually close up that gap or to catch Barcelona at the top of the table, because Barcelona is no longer in Europe. Some of the cup games is done and dusted, and they are out. I think they are still in the cup game, so they are just involved in 2 competitions. Unlike Real Madrid that are still in the 1 cup game, they are still in the Champions League, and then they will still be they will try to chase down the league to see if they can actually win the league title. But overall, for Barcelona, they think they've done well for themselves. They've held their own. They've been better. They've played as a team. We can call them a young team, but they've already gathered experience from the big boys in the team. So probably Barcelona will win the league.
Well, 12 points is not a child's play for them to win.
You to get that 12 points, you need 4 matches. 4 matches.
And I'm sure Barcelona will not rest on their oars at all, hoping that they will drop points. They won't want to do that.
They won't want to do that because they actually want to win a trophy. They want to win the 2nd trophy.
So right now, both of them seems to be like, okay, we go for Champions League. We go for the La Liga. Well, a big one, they are looking at the league as it's standing there in Spanish La Liga. Let's look at the bottom of the table, where we just look at the front side of it. Girona, Mallorca, Sevilla, Getafe, Cadiz, Real Valladolid, Espanyol, Almeria, Valencia, and Elche are all from 11 to 20 on the log table. Valencia right now, just the way I mentioned it, Everton are standing just ahead of Southampton, rather ahead of Leicester. But look at it, Almeria, Valencia, and Elche. Really surprising. You have Sevilla there also representing, I don't want to mention Chelsea here. Anyway, just the way it is right now, Sevilla starting 30 with 31 points, followed by Getafe, Cadiz, and Real Valladolid there. Just to give you an update on how the table is standing in the La Liga, match day 27 for the bottom side of the table. Now, we quickly look at Italian Serie A as it, right now standing also. Napoli, well, they fell flat against AC Milan. They really did well, talking about AC Milan walloping Napoli 4-0 in that encounter. Either somebody said because Osimhen did not play. Even with Osimhen, they could have lost because Napoli were not really the Napoli we used to watch in that game against AC Milan. Although they are still leading with 71 points ahead of Lazio, 55 points. A lot of points. They are 16 points adrift. AC Milan, they close the gap by extra. Right now, they are now standing 51. They're having 51 from 28 matches. Inter Milan, the Nerazzurris as they are called, they are standing 4 there. You have AS Roma, the sleeping giant. Atalanta, the team that play at the Bergamo, they are right now standing 6. Juventus, the old lady, they have 44 points from 28 matches. Bologna, Fiorentina, Udinese are all standing from 1 to 10. And you flip it to 11 to 20, and you quickly look at Torino, Sassuolo, Monza, Empoli. Empoli, they have 28 points. You have Salernitana, Lecce, Spezia, Hellas Verona, Cremonese, Sampdoria. Well, let's go back to the front side. Napoli. Yes, they were actually leading with roughly, 80 or how many points, but now it has been cut down to 16. They need to wake up. They shouldn't be complacent.
They shouldn't be complacent because if you are, the teams that are following can do a catch-up, and before you know it, you lose the league. They should not be deterred or distracted by this loss. I know 4-0 whooping from AC Milan. AC Milan are former champions, and they are one of the big teams when it comes to European football. And then in Italy, and for Napoli, I think they actually missed the services of Osimhen, because if Osimhen was there,
I said even if we were to be there, the performance of Napoli yesterday as a team, he wouldn't do it alone. I remember somebody saying, the same Osimhen, the same thing that happened in Super Eagles when he was running around. Don't think he came out.
It wouldn't do it, but it would have given the coach.
He shouldn't be the only one.
Yeah, it would have given
only
the coach.
He cannot do it.
He can't do it, but it would have given the coach some options. What do I mean by options? It would have given him some style of play. How well do I tackle my team? And if you look at the body language of the players, they actually, they've overstretched themselves. Some of them were on international duty, and Napoli has been brilliant from the beginning of the season. Stress, fatigue will set him at some point, and Osimhen that was not there gave them some serious problem up front, because you have Kvaratskhelia. Outside Kvaratskhelia, who else?
Politano. They have players.
The level of Kvaratskhelia and Osimhen right now, I think they are way ahead of Politano, Lorenzo, and whoever. But so far so good. They would have allowed that to be an excuse. 16 points can become 1 point at the end of the season. But so far, they shouldn't allow this defeat to actually bring their morale down. They should go all out for the remaining points, for the remaining matches of the season. And at the end of the season, they can just pop some champagne.
Let's see what happened concerning that there. But really, we need to give update concerning how the table is looking right now in French League 1. Well, PSG lost their game against Lyon. They fought hard, but in that game where Lionel Messi was actually booed by fans of PSG, how do fans quickly forget when you are doing well? Still baffles me. Well, if you don't do well today, they boo you. Tomorrow, if you score, they begin to hail you. Well, fans and football. PSG right now, despite that loss against Olympique Lyonnais, they were still be able to hold their own 29 matches, 6 points ahead of Lens and Marseille in that encounter there. Looking at the way this standing, Monaco are standing 4th. Lille reigns, you have Reims there. OGC needs to remove it. It was on, at least it was able to score. It was on song there. Now his team, they are standing 8th on the log. Lyon, they won that game. They got extra 3 points. So they have 44 points ahead of Lorient, who are now 10th on the log table. If you flip it to 11 to 20, let's look at how it is. You look at Montpellier there, Clermont, Toulouse, Nantes, Moses Simon team losing in that encounter there. Brest, you have Strasbourg, Auxerre, Troyes, and Ajaccio are standing 19 and Angers. But for maybe we should just look at the big boys now. PSG, this season, the gap of their lead is not as enormous as it used to be. They just have 6 points ahead of second place Lens and Marseille.
They've not been spectacular this season, and you mentioned it right now that Lionel Messi received boos from the fans. And why is it happening? Because where they want to actually be, they are not there. and they want to win the league in a way that, okay, it's going to show that they actually dominated the league. In past seasons, PSG wins league with 15 points. At some point, they win with more than 15 points, maybe 20 points thereabout. I think there was a season Lyon had to spare. I beg your pardon. PSG had to spare about 5 matches to the end of the season. But this time around, it's a different ball game. They are not that spectacular this season. And for Lionel Messi, when he came in, everybody thought the Messiah has come to that is going to turn this around, but reverse is this case. But overall, I think they will still win the league no matter what happens.
Well, 6 points is anything can still happen.
66 points, anything can happen. Yes, I get that, but they wouldn't just not give you the fight. They would not. For Lens, if you tell me it's Lyon or Marseille that is actually giving a PSG the hot chase right now, I was okay. I'm scared, but for Lens.
Marseille too, they have 60 points.
They have for Lens. They've tried seriously.
What I'm saying is Marseille, they are third on.
Marseille has 60 points, yes. But they are not second.
I know because they have the same point with Lens.
Yes, on goal difference.
Yeah,
on goal difference. So if it's Marseille that is,
look at points first before the goal difference.
I know. But if it's Marseille that is close to PSG, the way it's that, if the league ends today, right now,
it's not ending today.
No, I'm assuming if the
I'm only trying to tell you that the battle is still on. The race is a marathon. PSG should not be carried away.
6 points difference.
They have at least right now. They have 9 matches to go. 9 matches. 6 points. They need to be very, very careful.
If PSG lost the league, it's as in the doing it, as in the making is from. They use their hands to lose the league. Losing, they use their own. Let me say they put their own faith into gambling by loss. If they lost the league, but so far so good. Lens, who is on the second position, have actually tried.
I'm looking at. Well, I'm seeing something that you're not seeing here. You are looking at Lens. You're not looking at Marseille, Monaco, and Lille. Lille also former champions rather. They were former champions.
Yes, of course.
And you look at Lille, you look at Monaco, you look at Marseille. For Lens and Marseille, and even Monaco, for Monaco now it's 9 points. For Marseille it's 6 points. For Lens it's 6 points. So now you have 9 matches to go. They need to be very, very careful.
If
6 points.
If PSG can actually get inside the 18 points that are left, if they can get inside 18 points, 10, I think they should maximum 12.
And that's not as easy as been said, you know.
They just needed 4 games.
Yeah, well, let's wait and see what will be happening there. It's getting more interesting when it comes to football over there in France. The battle line has been drawn between those clubs, really trying to close the edge against PSG, the Paris Saint-Germain team over there in France, a big one. And quickly, let's look at some stories in the world of transfer gossip, where right now Rafael Benitez, JC March, Ralph Hasenhuttl and Adi Hotler are contenders for Leicester City managerial job. It's been open since the sack of Brendan Rodgers, and they're looking at getting either of these 4 managers that have been mentioned. Well, another one can still be coming right now. Rafael Benitez, JC March, Ralph Hasenhuttl and Adi Hotler.
Yeah, these are for Rafael Benitez. I think he's let me say, a wide range coach. He has gone around and he understands.
I think he's dropping for the likes of Leicester, for the likes of Everton.
To be calling for his services.
Yes, before you see him coaching Inter Milan,
teams like Chelsea,
Liverpool,
big teams that do big things.
His career
at some point, I think he has his career nosedived after leaving Liverpool. He went to Chelsea. He didn't really perform in Chelsea. He was sacked. He left there and he went to I think he went to the Asian League, Saudi Arabia, and came to Newcastle. But for Rafael Benitez, getting this job right now, I think he has the quality. If you ask me, I think he should be the front man for that job.
Okay, good one there. Now let's quickly run through some story before we wrap it up. Just take it in a jiffy. Leicester City could offer an immediate return to management to Graham Potter. Leicester City could do that right now, although we're waiting to see what's going to be happening concerning that issue of Leicester City manager. Another one says Chelsea are looking at Julian Nagelsmann, Mauricio Pochettino to take over Stamford Bridge. Well, a lot of names have been mooted, and we wait to see who will be getting that nod to take over as manager of Chelsea fully as the substantive coach. Newcastle United are favourites to sign Leicester City midfielder James Maddison. Maddison, fantastic player for Leicester, but right now Newcastle are really edging closer to see how they can get him. That will be the last one. We'll take you to Emmanuel Fashemi for Maddison.
For Maddison going to Newcastle, if Newcastle probably, no matter what happens, Newcastle will be in Europe next season, so it's good for Maddison to go to Newcastle.
It would be nice to have him there playing for Newcastle. That is, they continue to be at the top 4 for them to play at the Champions League. That will be it on 360 Sport. Emmanuel Fashimi, thanks very much for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me on the show. I'm
Adeni Ajishafe. Sport is always business and fitness. Thanks for watching.